Well, welcome back. Thanks again for joining us on Lessons into Blessings podcast, where we're leveling up investors in their financial freedom by sharing stories and strategies of everyday investors that have changed their financial trajectory through real estate. We have with us today Elijah Rubin, aka Fire Damage King of Arizona, also the founder and owner of Win LLC. It's a real estate consulting firm specializing in off-market properties acquired through probate, city violations, fire, flood, and vandalism damage. He's have over 18 years of experience in real estate and has completed over 800 transactions. We got a myriad of things. He's also got a Facebook page, over 5,000 members for fire damage profits. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and kind of the niche that he's got into. But let's welcome on Elijah Rubin. What's up, brother?
What's going on? What's going on, Miss Tari? I appreciate it. Are we share screening or is it all me?
We're gonna share screen in a bit. I'm
Hey,
gonna cameo.
I feel like I'm getting like the full
You're
body,
like,
full body love over here. I appreciate it.
no, that's cool. That's cool. We can split screen. Hey, I wanted to do, make sure that you get the focus, you know what I mean? So I
You're right.
appreciate you being on the show. I think I shared with you maybe when I asked you to do the show that I remember you from Azria days from like early 2000s,
Yeah.
hustling in the wholesale space.
I had
And
braids
the
at
funny
the
thing
time. I
is,
had braids at the time. That's what you remember me back in the gay day.
and the reason why you stood out to me was just because you were hungry. I could tell it. You know what I mean? I could tell you were. I mean, you were hitting everybody up, and I was like, "Yo, this dude right here, he's definitely going to make it." You know what I mean? And I didn't even know we were connected in any way, shape, or form. And so, kind of like fast forward years later, like finding out, like, "Oh my God, that's your brother," you know? So, that's crazy. So I just wanted to kind of share your story. And if you want to just like take us back to, the 21-year-old or 20 something year old that you were back in those wholesaling days,
Sure.
and kind of what is your journey from there to now? Like, you
Okay.
know,
So I'll fast forward past, getting my first deal, getting my first check. Now I'm wholesaling, right? I'm doing this full time. And well, before I hop into that, let me back up a second. Thank you, Tari. Thank you, everybody at the Lesson into Blessing family for having me on, for giving me the opportunity to
for
share
sure.
with you guys. I like to add value anywhere I can, so I appreciate that. So I don't take this lightly. I always like to add value. And when you ask me to do this, I want to make sure I deliver for the family. So just want to make sure I add that to the table for us, okay?
Yep, definitely.
So I was doing so I did a couple deals. Now I'm 21 years old. I'm like I said, I'm getting after it. I'm going to all well, I mean, you have to understand the first year it took me about 9 months to get my first deal. All right. And then when I made that first 10 grand, I'm like, oh, this is on, this is real. Oh my goodness. I ain't working at no more call centers. No. I want to get through this. I'm ready to get after it. But remember, this is back in '04. All right.
Right.
And '04, I mean, it don't feel like that long, but it's really that long, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there is no YouTube. All right. There is
Right.
no social media. All right. That stuff was not a thing. All right. And so for me to learn how to do real estate, you had to go to Arizona Real Estate Investor Association meetings around
Right.
town.
Thanks for the ex.
So being that I'm half Jewish, I didn't want to spend money on marketing, but I'm down to spend money on gas to go to people and network other people who were doing marketing. And
Right.
so that's why I meant hit you up, Tari, hit all the other people up. I made sure because my old past profession when I used to be in the club promotions, I knew the value of tapping in with everybody. I knew what happened to make sure they knew what I do, more importantly, what's in it for them to refer opportunities to me. And so
Yeah.
that was my big thing, make sure that I didn't care about giving out my business card. I want to collect business cards from everybody in that room. And so I collect business cards from everybody in the room. I'll make sure the next day I'm sending text messages, emails, and some lunches and coffee opportunities, just so I stay on top of mind when those opportunities came.
That's good.
Yeah, so I did a lot of that. Fast forward of '05, '06, and now I'm knocking out numbers. By the time by was it '04? So by '05, I make my first six figures. I'm then at home at mom's and pops, so I ain't paying no taxes. So I really feel like, oh, I'm fine. I'm going to Amsterdam. I'm going to Italy. I'm blowing all my money. I think it's going to go forever. That's like the gift and curse of making money quickly, especially when you're not ready for it. You feel like it's going to be this way forever. It's never going to
Yeah.
it's going away. And so money starts showing up. '07 happens. I'm still crushing it. I'm losing it, making it, losing it, making it. Then '08 happens. Bam! Smacked your boy in the face. And like a lot of people, I mean, I took severe losses. Everybody around taking losses. Then we end up I struggled for that whole year from '08 to '09. The shift really hit me because I was so young in the business. I didn't really know how to adjust correctly and how to make right pivots. And I'm seeing some of the big dogs. They're going out of business. They're going back to regular jobs.
Right.
So I'm like, they're going to get a job. What am I going to have to do?
Yeah.
So again, real nervous. Wasn't sure what to do. Wasn't sure I was going to make it. '09 happens, and then I started. My dad introduced me to the rabbi. I'm half Jewish on my dad's side.
Right.
Introduced me to the rabbi. I talked with the rabbi. He ends up say, Elijah, do you know how to do this probate deal? I didn't even know what probate was. So I'm over here just going on. I end up going in Google, because Google's starting to get
Google
bigger.
existed.
It's starting to get bigger. It's after beta 2, beta 3, Google 3. And so I figured out how to do probate deals. After I did the probate deals, I realized people have probates, although the family member passed away. They have somebody inherited the property. A lot of times the insurance of the deceased paid off the mortgage, so they don't really have a lot of urgency when they have to do something.
Right.
The property sit, and so I started realizing some of those houses that sat end up catching city violations on them. So because for board up, fencing, graffiti, trash, people breaking in. So those ones I started getting some success with those, probate people, city violations, multiple pain points. I started getting some deals on those. Then it took me about another year and a half too. And I started realizing these city violation properties that are probate deals, the ones who sat and the homeowners didn't do anything, those started catching on fire.
Wow.
So I'm like, oh, okay, catching on fire, right? So I started going to talk to the OGs out here, like, hey, what do you guys do with your fire damage deals? Like, fire damage deals. Oh, Elijah, don't waste your time. Don't waste your time, Elijah. It's too much work. Nobody buys those. It's out of your wheelhouse. Don't waste your time with them. So I'm like, well, if you guys are running from them, I'm running towards them.
Right.
So I ended up getting some of those. So I started doing fire damage deals, and I probably did those for about 2 years because just less competition. Most people don't know what to do with those deals, and the homeowner can't say, all right, well, let me sleep on it. There's no house sleeping, all right? So you got to do something, right?
Wow.
So
let's talk about solution space, because
sure.
I'm seeing all throughout the story solution space. Number one, just in the period you just getting into real estate and collecting. So you use a lot of that club promoter kind of skills to transition yourself into the wholesaling game. So the whole normally people are passing out business cards, call me. What did you do with all the business cards you collected from all the people at the Real Estate Investment Association meetings?
Oh, so because 90% of people lose those business cards, right? They don't follow up, they don't do anything. So I just knew from the club promotion world, if you want to get things done, it's on you to make sure to follow up, the fortunes in the follow up.
Yeah.
What I would do, the next day, I'll block off 2-3 hours, organize our list. When I meet somebody and I get their business card, whatever they're talking to me about that I feel like I want to follow up with them, I make sure they see me right on the card, so they see that I'm taking something serious about what they're sharing with me.
For sure, yeah.
And that's what you call creating human equity with people.
Yep.
Making people have the universe effect, where you're the only thing that matters in the whole universe is us right now.
Yep.
So I used some of that from my promotional world, took that, made sure they felt like their own person mattered, wrote down some notes, and I told them on Friday or Tuesday at 6:00 it's okay for me to follow up with you. Now, most people do Hollywood talk, like, yeah, sure, follow up, sure,
For
right?
sure. Absolutely.
I made sure I wrote on my calendar. I said, if this one, I went to 6 o'clock. So whatever time I told those people, I usually do like a 2 to 3 hour block of time.
Yeah.
And then I make sure I call through everybody. I send them text messages and emails. And then on the voicemail, if I didn't get a hold of them, I let them know, hey, on Wednesdays and Fridays from 4 to 6 p.m., this is the time I follow up. So I didn't get you now. Call me back when you can. If not, I'll
Yeah.
follow up with you on one of those times. So they
What
knew,
door of opportunity did that open up for you?
oh, tremendous, right? Because now, most people don't do that. And most people aren't calling multiple times if they feel slighted that you didn't take the call. I
Right.
never took it personal. All right.
Yep.
I learned at a younger age your ability to overcome rejection and deal with the fact that
That's good.
I don't care what somebody else thinks about me. I care more about what I think about me. And I
Yep.
care more about creating an opportunity.
That's good. That's
Mhm.
real good.
Yes.
So that created a space in the wholesaling, and we heard a little bit about, that the market took a turn and that kind of just wiped things out. Your ability to rebound from that, what was that journey like rebounding?
Well, a lot of drugs. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm joking. No, it's really scary. I mean, think about it. I mean, I'm 24, 25 years old. I'm thinking
Yeah.
I'm making this money. So the problem when you start making money, your lifestyle expenses go up.
Right.
And so now you're used to buying the bottles, hanging out with the people, buying flights for people. And now you're like, hey, that lifestyle catches up.
Right.
And now things are shifting on you. That imposter syndrome starts kicking in. Oh, you're a fraud. I'm telling my sisters, like, what are you guys going to college for? I'm going to retire the family. You don't need to go to school. You're going to be a doctor. I'm going to be a
Right.
millionaire.
Right.
I'm like, hey, can I borrow the $20 for gas? It's
Right.
like, I
Right.
need
I
some
get
humble
that.
pie. I need some humble pie. And then
Yeah.
I realized that when I closed my first deal, I really felt the change burst off me. I felt the sort of liberation. I knew I was never going to go back to work for somebody ever again.
Yeah.
And so that drive and that that goal clarity of what I want to work for myself, be my own boss, and that achievement drive didn't allow me to mope around and say, "Well, what am I going to
Yeah.
do? What am I
Yeah.
going to do?" I'm like, "Well, I'll start driving for dollars." And
Right.
it's funny, my club owner before I started fire damage, which I kind of skipped past, I used to at 16 years old, I had a 15-man street team. All right, so then that's pretty rare for somebody so young, and I'm
Right.
not even supposed to even be in the clubs, but
Right.
because I had value, they had let me in the club because I need to make sure my team is passing out flyers and do what they need to do. So I took
How'd you enroll? You notice the word enroll 15 of your friends, people, schoolmates
well,
to rally behind it.
shout out to Jasmine, my sister, my middle sister. She actually started club promotion, and she
Okay.
got me, and she kind of got me into it. And the person at the time, like who would let me do the club promotions, I saw his quid pro quo, if you will, right? Hey, you pass out 1 million flyers. I got Denny's for you at night, and then you can come to the club. And then you come to the club, you get to get for free. I ain't gonna pay you, but you spend
Right.
money to get dressed up to go to the club so you can talk to girls. Well, I want
Right.
to talk to girls, so I'm like, well, if I could go to the club, I'm probably gonna win this way. And
Right.
so
Right.
I was able to sell out my friends, like, hey, and you take pictures with LL Cool J or with some of the artists. You see the pictures. Remember, there's no social media at this time,
Right.
so all you do,
Right.
you see these pictures. Well, you're doing that, and all I do is pass out those on these nights, and I get it for free, and I get a
Yeah.
shirt
Yeah.
for a shirt, some Denny's, and for them to be able to hang out with some other people in the club. I was getting a lot of low cost labor at effective price at that time.
That's funny. I love it. How do you translate that to now in enrolling people into just getting involved, right? Like jumping on the fire damage wagon, or getting people into your team and in your system.
So the way we do that now is what I understand now is I always look at the what's it? It's called Wi-Fi, we FM. What's in it for me, and I look at
Yeah.
what's in it for them. Right, I'm looking at
Yeah.
what do they get out of knowing me? What do they get out of communicating with me? How
Yeah.
do I make sure they get a win? Because if I help you get your win, it's a lot more likely going to help me get my win, especially
Right.
if he's putting you first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And about your community, right? You were talking about your fire damage communities, about like 5,000 or so members,
Mm-hmm.
first of its kind, sounds like, on Facebook. How did you build that community? Just of
A shout out to my baby girl Jennifer Coronado, my soon-to-be wife. I'm going to be getting
Hey,
divorced. All right,
congratulations.
thank you. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. But I mean, we own our fire damage profit group together. So
Yeah,
we've been together for 6 years. She's like, when it comes to strategies, when it comes to systems, she's just absolutely brilliant. I mean, just a gifted mind. And I had this fire damage niche, and I'm not gonna lie, I started off with a little bit of a mindset of scarcity. I'm like, I didn't want nobody knowing that. I figured out not only how to do fire damage deals, but then I figured out how to start making 3 checks on one deal, because
right,
there's insurance money on the deal that could help the homeowner get. I could obviously buy and wholesale the deal, and I could help them find another deal. So now I'm making 3 checks on one deal. I don't want
right,
nobody to know about my new technique I figured out. I want to
right.
don't tell nobody, don't tell nobody. And Jennifer's like, listen, we're eating well over here off of this. And God's not going to keep pouring in our cup if we don't start pouring in other people's cup.
That's good.
And
That's
like,
good.
ooh, like, dang, Jen, you right. Like, you right. So, like, all right, so how do you want to do this? You want me to just start put out flyers and like flow them out? Like, she's like, no, now technology's here. We could create a webinar. We could create a Facebook group. Let's create a course and let's bottle up what you know how to do. And let's make it
Yeah,
very easy for people to consume and do it themselves.
that's cool.
And literally, that's what we started doing. We started speaking at locations, and then we started finding out that like literally nobody in the country does these, and this
Wow.
wasn't a thing. And so we saw that we were leading. We quickly became one of the leading fire damage experts in the country in the real estate space. Became a voice of authority, and we started letting people know, hey, if you want to learn about fire damage profits, go to Fire Damage Profits. We give away free trainings. We gave away videos, PDF. She's creating SOPs so that people can start doing this on their own.
That's
And,
good.
and we realized people like, well, yeah, I need more help than that. And then that's when we
Right.
started getting our mentorship and our coaching programs.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. So I love the fact of and there's always that scarcity mindset, right? Like, I think a lot of people have that mindset. It's like, man, if I let anybody in, and even myself, really just now, like, just sharing, like, okay, beginning of the year, it was like, I felt in my spirit, like, just like everything that God's really poured into me, all the opportunities that He's brought my way, all
Mm-hmm.
the lessons that I've learned, like, it's time to start pouring it back. And
Absolutely.
so, I want people to level up their financial freedom. So I want to be able to start giving out all the things that I've learned along the way, that I've stumbled into, just, oh wow, this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
and really have people on, that have learned the same things, right, through their own journey. So with the fire damaged kind of space, what do you feel like are the niches, or the riches in the niches? I'll put it like that, right? What's the rich in the niche of fire damage property that really appeals to your group and your community?
I think the people who are in the community, people who are kind of tired of fishing in the pond with everybody else, they don't want to try to outmarket the best marketers. They
Yeah,
want to be able to not just be another generic wholesaler or investor with cash, but want to learn how to be a trusted advisor, how to
right.
add more value than somebody's paying you for, and then how to create opportunities and where you're able to get paid multiple times in one transaction. So now you're working smarter and more profitable while you continue to work hard. And
Yeah,
that gives a good opportunity that most people just don't know how to do. A lot of other wholesalers, it's like the one lead source of the wholesalers will send to you. They're not going to give you their probate deals, not going to give you their foreclosure leads, but the
right.
one fire damage deal they drove by that they don't know what to do, they're willing to give that to you. So that gives you a little
Nice.
competitive edge. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice. That's nice. So it is somewhat of a niche. Do you partner with your students
Oh,
on
yeah.
deals?
Yeah, I partner on deals. I partner with people who just don't know it. Some people just refer deals to me, and I pay them consulting fees on. Other
That's
people,
cool.
other students, we do partner up on deals. Some deals I just try to give information, let you do it yourself.
So pitch me. If I had a property, it just
Hmm.
burned down. Pray that never happens.
Sure.
What would be
So
your pitch to me?
Tari, tell me, why should I buy your fire damage property? It looks like you caught your house on fire. Not joking. That's not how you do it. Like, excuse me, click, click. So what I would do, I don't recommend people going in there at treating it like a traditional transaction where like, hey, sorry, hey Tari, I heard you. Are you interested in selling your house? Like, no, they just lost everything. All
For
right,
sure.
so you want to we really teach people how to do the 3 E's. All right, and the 3 E's are how to empathize with them because people don't care what you know until they know how much you care.
Amen. That's
All
right.
right, and then you want to make sure that you are educating them. Let them know about 80% of the time, the homeowner, they're only getting about 80% of the money on the insurance money, but they don't know it. They assume they
Yeah.
pay 100% of the premiums. Each month they get 100% of the insurance money. When it's time to hit an insurance claim, they don't realize they're getting they're getting shortchanged. And then the third E, we want to make sure that we empower them with more options. They usually think the only option is whatever the insurance company tells them, and I'm able to give more options. So
Got
those are
you.
the 3 E's we like to do. And so now that I gave you guys some gems, let's see. Okay? I want to give you
Love
the
it. Love
value.
it.
All right. So
So
listen.
you're an option outside of insurance.
Exactly. The insurance
Nice.
company say, well, you have to rebuild. Well, most homeowners, no, you don't have to rebuild. You can, like I said, you can still get all your insurance money and you can sell the property and you can find another property to move into and be in a property
Right.
in a month versus waiting 9 months, getting certificate of occupancy, living in a
Right.
hotel or Airbnb until your house is back so you could go back to your regular normal life.
That's
You don't
good.
have to wait that time.
Yeah. That's
But it's
good.
in the insurance best benefits to have you rebuild the property, use your contractor, get paid on the insurance money. That's in the best interest of the insurance company, not always what's best interest of you as a client.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
So,
Intrigued. What's
right,
your Facebook page, just so people know what it is?
sure, it's Fire Damage Profits. Fire Damage Profits as a Facebook page. But to get
Okay.
to your initial question, Tara, I don't want to be a politician and dance around your questions. All right, you
No, you
asked,
good.
what does it sound like, right? So I would say, I'll say something like this. So, hey, Tari, how's it going?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey, so my name is Elijah. I work with the National Asset Protection Company, where we help families save their biggest asset, which is generally their house, specifically when a house catches on fire. We realized your house caught on fire not too long ago. My question to you is, are you looking to keep the property or are you looking to rebuild the property?
I at this point, I've lost all my belongings in the house. I don't even know if I really want to rebuild at this point. I just really want to put it behind me. I just want to make sure I don't lose what I put into it, the money I put in.
You want to make sure you don't lose the money put into it, and you don't want to lose out on any potential money that you have, and you're not
Right.
quite sure what you want to do. If I heard
Yeah.
you right,
Yeah.
great, I get it. And I understand how you feel. And I helped some other clients who felt the exact same way, not sure what to do, what's next for them, and what they found by having a trusted advisor like us, who doesn't work on behalf of the insurance company. We not only can we help you rebuild the property or buy the property from you, but more importantly, we help make sure that you come out well ahead and get to the next chapter of your life. So let me ask you, Tari, did you lose any important documents? Any animals get hurt? Any family members get hurt within the fire?
No, thank goodness, none of my family was in the house. My son left a pot on the stove, and it just
Oh,
burned down and set the rest of the fire. I guess it was electrical fire. I don't know all the details,
wow.
but yeah, we're just in this
Hear that.
situation. So nobody hurt, no animals, just
Good.
a lot of definitely a lot of love, pictures and
Oh,
documents that were important. So yeah,
yeah. So you're someone supposed to cook up a meal and not cook up the house.
right, right, right,
Got it.
right.
Got it. Okay.
He won't be allowed to turn
Yeah.
anything
No
else on at
culinary
this
arts. Let's
point.
take the microwave from here on out. Okay. So Tari, I mean, unfortunately, 80% of the time, the homeowner's only getting 80% of the money, but you don't know that. And that's why we want to
Yeah.
make sure you get all the insurance money. Not only can I help buy your property, but we can help make sure you get all the insurance money that's owed to you. And then when you're ready, I have lots of relationships and resources to help make sure you find your next property. So you're not just surviving this house fire. We're gonna help you thrive well after the house fire. But
Right.
that's something you probably don't want to do, is it?
Come on now.
And see,
I'm in the
negative.
thriving business.
See, now that's
I
how
like
you
how you
do
did
it.
that.
By me say that's something you don't want to do. No, I do want to do it.
Right,
Now I'm
right,
being
right.
rude. There's little techniques we like to put in there, but that's a little sample what's just out
No,
there.
that's good stuff. That's good stuff. I like it. I like just, it is a niche. And so I definitely appreciate the tips walking away from that. Um, because this is lessons into blessings, and so we are always sharing what things, obstacles that the people we bring on, what they've had to go through, and their pivots in order to take what was kind of an obstacle in their life and pivot into a blessing, right? So you already talked about a few of them, but what is your biggest obstacle that you've had to face today that you can think of, and how were you able to pivot to turn it into a blessing?
I'm gonna turn it back. I'm gonna go back a little bit on you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, well, let me fast forward here, and I'm gonna go back with it. Okay,
Yeah.
so earlier this year, I closed one of the biggest deals of my career. Right, it's a 16-unit apartment complex. We made $800,000 on this deal. I personally kept 400,000 of the biggest wire I've ever seen hit my account. Right,
Nice.
so I'm very excited and very blessed for it. However, it just didn't happen now. I want to go back all the way before I got into real estate. Once I before I was still doing club promotion a little bit. I got my second DUI. All right, so that's one of the biggest lessons. I got a second DUI. Thought my life was going to be over. Thought I might be going to jail. I'm like, I'm too small, too pretty to be going to jail.
Right. Right.
I ain't gonna do well there. So I'm like, hey, and I know a lot of people, especially black men, knowing that sometimes you get profile of the situation happens, and if you do not pay your fines, your likelihood of getting locked back up and serving
Yeah.
time just jumps up like 60-70%. So I knew I had to get a job. I had to pay these fines off. I knew that had to be a thing. So I called one of my friends, like, hey, where do you know I could get hired at if someone has a felony on the record? Because now I'm a felon, because now I have a DUI on my record and two to match. And where can I work at where I could at least get a job to pay for some of these fines? So he's like, hey, you can work for this ADT company, a home security alarm system company, or anybody. They don't care, because you're getting commission only, and you're walking door to door in the heat. So I'm like, all right, whatever. Let me get this job. Let me do it. So get the job. I'm going. I mean, and we out here in Arizona, so we know it gets like 120.
Exactly.
And I had braids at the time. You remember when he first met? I had braids at the time. So I remember to this day, the braid grease dripping in my eyes and just burning, just going door to door. And I remember knocking at the door, and I just remember when the first doors I knocked on, this one guy came out. He's like, what do you want? I'm like, I want to talk to you about home security alarms. We're trying to approach homeowners about home security alarms. Like, you think I'll buy something from you? I'm scared of people like you. I'm not buying no home security alarm from you.
Wow.
And so I'm getting hit with racism. I'm getting hit with shame. I'm like, oh my God, I want to quit, but I can't quit.
Right.
Who else is going to hire me? Because I had this DUI, I had to pay these fines. So now I started developing a phobia of rejection. I'm telling myself, I'm going up to the next door, and I'm getting my palms are getting clammy. I'm getting shortness of breath.
Wow.
I'm walking up, and before I even knock on the door, I'm telling myself it's going to be like the last guy.
Wow.
We're not buying nothing from you. We're scared of people like you. We're not giving you no business. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling myself no before I even get there.
Wow.
And this goes on month after month. So now I'm about 3 months, no deals, no revenue. Luckily, they pay like $450 a month. So I'm using that money and sending my minimum payments to the courts.
Right.
And I'm like, this is the worst. Like, this cannot be my life. So luckily, I talked with one of my managers at the time. And my manager said, Elijah, what's going on? When he said that helped me, he's like, Elijah, what if you tell yourself a different story? What if you did sometimes a story that they don't like you, they don't do business with people of your kind, and they're going to tell you no anyways. What if you stop that negative self-talk and you start telling yourself a different story that they do like you?
Yeah.
You just haven't asked the right way for them to say yes to you. They'll look to do business with you.
Yeah.
And once I said that, simple change my mind. When I started walking up the door, I started telling myself the new story. I didn't feel the same type of anxiety in me. I knocked on the door. He still said no to me, but there was a lot nicer. Right? There's still a lot nicer to me, right? But like literally a week later, I finally get my first sale.
Nice.
I'm like, boom, like, all right, I got it. And so after I got my first sell, then one of my other friends told me about a call center and you take a nose in AC versus the heat. So I'm like, all right, I got my deal. Went to call center, but what helped me there is shifting dynamics of what I tell myself.
That's
right?
good.
When somebody tells you is one thing, that what you tell yourself is everything. And once I shift the dynamic of who I am, how valuable I am, I started doing affirmations before I get on calls.
That's
I started doing affirmations in the mornings. My ability to overcome no, my ability to take on rejection, make more calls and take more no's that allowed me to become one of the top salespeople at every call center I ever worked at.
That's good.
And then when I bought into real estate, I brought that with me.
Yeah.
My ability to it took me 2 years to close a 16-unit deal. Countless possible rejection that could happen on the deal. And I give testament to me being able to overcome that first no.
That's
back
good.
when I was 21, 22 years old, allowed me to make the $800,000 deal we closed.
That's good. That's, I mean, that really, it's funny because everyone I have on the show, mindset is one of the things they like, limiting beliefs, or, you know, just where my mind was at that stage and how they had to make a shift. So that is such a critical piece. And the being able to shift the story that you tell yourself is that's so good. That's a really good takeaway. I was going to ask you what you wanted to leave our audience, that if you had to tell you, and you already gave me one, so I'll just ask you for two more. If you had to tell yourself when you first started, 21-year-old Elijah at the ASRIA meetings, if you could go back knowing what you know now and tell him, what are two additional things you tell him? I love the overcoming the changing the story. That's powerful. Yeah. Is there two other things that you would say if that he's getting
just two? No, I got you. I got you.
Oh, I'm sure you got more. Trust me.
I got you. Another one would probably be
like, well, how can we narrow it down? If you want to get an extra one,
I get two more. No worries. I would say I would tell myself patience. Oh no. I'll say I tell myself perspective and perspiration equals have the biggest impact on your performance.
Okay.
Do you have a positive perspective where you're at in life and not pocket watch other people? Don't look all what's on. Do you have the right perspective of who you are, what you're here to do? And are you willing to perspire? Are you willing to work harder than everybody else around you? Because if you think it's going to come easy to you, it's not going to happen for you.
Right.
All right. It's going to come. Those opportunities are going to come to the people who put in the more effort and work. And if you put in more effort and work, things are going to usually work in your benefits. Yeah. So those are the two things. That's one thing I told myself. And another thing I think I tell myself, I will quote it from the book of Hov, Jay-Z. I live by it now, and it makes it so much easier. I wish I told myself then. Two bars. He says I always just tell myself if I get down, get myself like remind yourself nobody's built like you. You get to design yourself. So no matter who you think you are, whatever bad you are, hey, you're bad at sales, you're bad at parenting, you're bad at nutrition. Tomorrow you can start making yourself a better person tomorrow. You can start reading books. You can change your behavior. You can wake up early. You could try harder. And then the last one is put me anywhere on God's green earth and watch me triple my worth.
Love it.
And just feel that way about yourself, doing that.
Love it.
God created you to be that person, not the next person, not the person on Instagram, you. And when you start feeling that way about you, you expect things to happen. Your capacity starts growing because you demand more for yourself because you know you got that gift in you.
That's it right there. And every day we wake up, we have a new opportunity to do it again.
You redefine yourself.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, man, Elijah, thank you for joining us. I took a lot away. I definitely know our listeners took a lot away. Until the next time, stay blessed.
Yes, sir. Blessings.